So today's video and podcast is on relationships versus results. Some of the things we're going to go over today is what makes a good relationship, how your own relationship with yourself affects your results, how your relationship with others affects your results, and your relationship with yourself and others, how that affects other relationships.
Yeah.
Cool.
So touch on relationships first. So this is really any connection that you have with another person, but also what we're going to go over a lot is the relationship with yourself. And I think relationships are so crucial to a person overall and their well-being, because studies show that one of the biggest determinants of overall health and longevity of your lifespan and everything like that is your social interactions. And as humans, we're such social characters, and it's part of our actual nature for survival, really. That's why it has such a big staple in our lives. It's also something we often forget about, and the connections that we have. So, yeah, I think first we'll talk a bit about what makes a good relationship. So, in your opinion?
Oh yeah, cool. So, in my opinion, what makes a good relationship is not just with yourself, but with the others too, and remembering support plays a major role in that. So if you look at a relationship with yourself, do you support yourself in what you do? Do you believe in what you do? And then your external relationships, being either your family or friends or your partner, your intimate relationships, do they support you in what you do? So yeah, support would be number one for me, and then number two comes straight into that is belief, and then trust. They all tie in together. Honesty. So again, if you're not honest with yourself, how do you expect to be honest with anyone else? If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect to believe in anyone else? So all these things here to me make a good relationship. And again, if you don't trust yourself, how could you ever trust anyone else? So those are some of the key points I like to think about in a relationship. What about you?
Definitely, and I think avenue in which those are all swapped back between people, between each other, it comes down to kind of communication. So no matter what's internally, you can know someone on that real basis value of their values, attitudes, beliefs and everything, but then how you communicate that, and that's not only verbal but non-verbal, so physical actions and everything like that. And I think it's just really come down to how you communicate within your relationship.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's a massive one too that I probably just missed before, is communication. Like if you're getting, if we're going back to your relationship with yourself, that if your internal dialogue is wrong or miscommunicating to yourself, how do you expect to get a message across to someone that you love or someone that you care about? Like you need to stop and reevaluate and retune the way you think. And the way this ties into results is this will affect how you feel about your goals. This will affect how you feel about what you're doing towards your goals. If the words that you use inside your mind or inside your head are not supporting your own beliefs, then you're going to be stopping yourself. Like one of the best sayings is you are your own worst enemy, and the best way to get somewhere you want to get is to get out of your own fucking way. Like, it's that simple. Anything more you want to put on that?
Yeah, it's that idea of if you said what you said to yourself to someone else, like, would you ever do that? Like, if the negativity that you're feeding yourself and the way you talk down about yourself, can you imagine saying that to someone else? And I think that's a good way to look at it as well.
Yeah, I'm probably a prime example of that. It's just going blank, open that back up. Is that there's no one who's ever been as hard on me as I am on myself. I am
definitely
very hard on myself, and when I fuck up or get something wrong, or if I don't, or if I get a ton of things wrong at the same time, what am I like to myself?
You beat yourself up a lot.
Yeah, I'm bloody horrible to myself, but at the same time, it's that's what pushes me to get things better or get things moving and just carry on to the next step. I don't dwell on it for, what's the longest I've been cut up about something like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll have literally a bad day, which is a big progression for me because if I go back a few years ago when I was really fighting with depression, anxiety, and suicide, I'd have bad weeks, I'd have bad months, like I had bad years. That's where it all started for me. So for me, just to have a bad day and then turn it around, and then what am I like the day after I have a bad day?
You're like an Energizer bunny.
I'm like on fucking fire. I just have this like sickening work ethic. But again, it just comes down to the relationship I have with myself. As I have been there, and I have had a very self-destructive relationship with myself, which affected my goals. It affected how I felt. It affected how I felt about going to the gym. It affected how I was around other people. So yeah, learning that internal dialogue and how you talk to yourself and what you do to overcome issues that you come up in your, and again, we're trying to relate this back to training. So if you've got a weight loss goal or a strength goal, if your internal dialogue towards that is out, then all those goals are going to be, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a good lead into the next sort of subtopic of your relationship with yourself versus your results. And something you said from hearing the other day was about how you define yourself is really going to impact the amount of progress you can make. So, for example, myself, I for a long time defined myself as I have an eating disorder, I binge eat, I overexercise, everything like that. So I was kind of already creating a self-fulfilling prophecy for myself that that's just who I am, that's what I do. And so I was never happy about it or wanted it, but I was giving myself that kind of fallback excuse that that's just who I am. So it's easy to revert back to that. It's the same if someone was to say like I'm just fat or I just eat like this, anything like that, you're telling yourself that's what you are and that's what you're going to be.
Yeah, and that's the same with, if you don't mind me jumping in, just with people who want to quit smoking as a new line of, or trying to create themselves a new healthy lifestyle habit, is that if you believe that you're a smoker, you're like, oh, I've always been a smoker, then you're always going to be a smoker. If you have to really rewire and reword the words that you use in your mind to help you towards your goals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes down to the whole how this affects your results, is it's really going to impact your, in the topic we spoke about, kind of like motivation and self-drive and everything like that. If you're setting yourself up internally and like from your brain, which is the same center that tells your bicep to do a bicep curl, like if you're fighting up there, you don't think it's ever going to come across in the way that you really need to get your results.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's another big thing on that with Olivia. And this is what's like I noticed for my own clients. My clients are like, oh, I've always eaten this way, or I've always been fat, or I've always been weak. It's like, well, you've always got to be that way. You have to start believing, as stupid as it sounds, you have to start telling yourself, instead of saying I'm fat or I'm weak, you got to start saying, man, I look good. I look better than 90% of the world population, because 90% of the world's population are either dying of starvation or morbidly obese. So if you're somewhere in the middle, you're living a pretty good bloody life. And the same thing again, some people might think they're weak, but they're still stronger than they were yesterday. If say for example, let's use an exercise like a deadlift, for example, because I love deadlifts. So they only did 80 kilos last week, but this week they did 80 kilos for an extra rep. That is stronger. That's just a way of looking at it.
Yeah.
You got to reprogram in your mind. It's like, oh, it's not 100 kilos. Who gives a shit if it's not 100 kilos? Like, the fact that you did that or you performed that exercise better than the week before shows that you have progressed. So don't beat yourself up about little things like that.
Yeah, don't compare yourself to others, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And there's
which
a lot
I had
of...
to fight with for ages, because I was like, I should be doing 100 kilo squat. All the other girls are doing 100 kilo squat, but just. And you don't want to make excuses yourself. You obviously can work towards things, but it was like my body does not like to squat. It just doesn't. Like, it likes 50 kilos and under. It likes that.
Yeah.
So it's don't compare yourself, and just focus on getting stronger. Like, I can rep out a certain weight for whatever, and I'm getting stronger in other places. So it's not just about
yes.
that. But yeah, and when it comes down to when you're pushing for those results, are you taking care of yourself, and like, do you love yourself, all that kind of thing. So do you love yourself enough to go to the gym and to eat a balanced diet? I'm not talking just have to have a salad, that's not loving yourself, but eating like a balanced diet, taking care of yourself mentally and physically, and that's really
100%. Another thing I want to touch on about the relationships with yourself again is how you externally view yourself. So the way you look at yourself to the outside world, even like comes down to as simple as just how you present yourself to the outside world, not via social media, but more so just the way you dress, the way you live, the way you like everything that you do that shows an extension of yourself. How do you portray that? That's a big thing that I find really changed the way I feel about myself. Coming from being a homeless drug addict, in the way I dressed and the way I felt or resembled that, I looked like a drug addict, I looked like a crackhead, I looked like I didn't have anywhere to live, probably smelled like it too at the time. But yeah, one of the biggest standards is that I raise the standards of the way I present myself to the world. I might not be having the best day, but I can walk out of the house like I'm going to take on anything or take on anyone. Like, that's my mindset. So yeah, and
that's completely different to just being like shallow and aesthetic based. Like, it's not a point of like you're only as good as you look, but that's still that idea of you're portraying
an image. You're portraying your self-image that you have on yourself. Some people will, man, or like a lot of my life I've been called cocky or I've been called overconfident. I'm like, I honestly wouldn't want to be anything less, because I've felt what it's like to be less, and it's fucking shit. Like, it feels shit to have no confidence in yourself. It feels absolute shit to not believe in yourself. Some people call it cocky, I call it self-belief. Just believing in something. If you don't believe in something, like, who's going to believe in you? Yeah, and especially from a coaching perspective, if you don't believe in yourself, how do you get your clients to believe in you and trust you to give you money to help them get to a certain level? Like, it all starts with you, I think. Cool. Anything more on that?
I guess the perfect time to the next topic is that whole, like, if you don't love yourself, how is anyone else going to love you? So moving on to relationships with others versus your results. So obviously your relationship with yourself can really affect your relationship with others, and I'm sure we'll touch on that, but also how you involve others in your path to getting your results. Because if you don't fit your goals to your lifestyle and who's like we spoke about at the start, supporting you, then there's just going to be a barrier and a roadblock to your results, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's something that I ask on all consult forums is about people's partners. One, do they have a partner? Two, are they single? Because you find when you're in a relationship, you share expectations with your partner or your wife or husband, whoever it is that you have, of your standards. So your standards are very similar to theirs, even though two people can be very different. But I strongly believe that if you don't have the support towards your goals from your partner, especially your intimate partner, you're going to fall on your face a lot and feel like you're always fighting, again, an uphill battle.
Yeah.
So